Hi everyone, my name is Ikhwan. In this short video, I'd like to share with you the research proposal that I'm working on. The title of my research is Beyond Compliance, ESG Reporting as Corporate Strategy and its Financial Impact in Indonesia's High Emission Sectors. In this presentation, I'll walk you through key parts of my proposal, starting from the background and the problem statement, to the research question, research objectives, literature review, and finally, the methodology I plan to use. Let's get started. So, over the past few years, ESG, which stands for Environmental, Social, and Governance, has become more than just a checkbox for companies. It has evolved into a key component of long-term business strategy. This shift is driven by growing awareness that sustainability is not just about ethical responsibility. It is also about managing risk, protecting reputation, and also unlocking new opportunities. For companies operating in high-emission sectors such as energy, mining, and manufacturing, ESG reporting is no longer optional. It is mandatory. These sectors are under intense scrutiny, not only from regulators, but also from external parties like global investor, consumer, and multilateral institutions. Globally, we have seen major shifts like the EU Green Deal, the rise of sustainable finance, and mandatory ESG disclosure framework from IFRS and ISSB. These changes signal that ESG is now a core element of business performance and market success. While in Indonesia, this issue is very relevant. As a resource-rich, export-oriented country with a heavy dependence on extractive and energy-intensive industries, Indonesia plays a significant role in global climate discussion. But also, Indonesia faces challenge of transforming its economic model toward sustainability. ESG awareness is increasing in Indonesian capital market. The Indonesia Stock Exchange, or IDX, now has an ESG Leaders Index. Regulators like OJK are also promoting sustainability reporting through POJK in 2017. However, despite these developments, many companies still treat ESG as a compliant exercise, producing reports that are not yet integrated into decision-making or strategy. This is where novelty of my research lies. I want to explore whether ESG, when implemented strategically, can actually influence financial performance. Can a company gain a real value, higher return on asset, return on equity, or better deposition by committing to ESG, not just as reporting, but as a business philosophy? This question is both timely and relevant, especially given Indonesia's current momentum toward ESG adoption and its high-emission industrial profile. The findings of this research could provide evidence-based insight for firms that are still unsure about whether ESG is just a cost or a potential source of competitive advantage. So, what's the problem this research is trying to address? Well, there have been more and more international studies showing that companies with good ESG performance often achieve better financial results, whether it's higher profitability, better stock returns, or improved risk management. But in Indonesian context, especially in high-emission industries, the evidence is still quite limited. And even when studies do exist, the results are not always consistent. For example, some companies in Indonesia report strong ESG scores, but it's not always clear whether that actually translates to a better financial health, like higher return on asset or return on equity. That is the gap this research is trying to fill. I want to explore using a real financial data, whether ESG performance really impacts key financial metrics for high-emission companies in Indonesia. From that background and problem, I developed 3 key research questions to guide this study. First, to what extent does ESG performance influence the financial performance of companies operating in high-emission sectors in Indonesia, particularly as measured by return on asset, return on equity, weighted average cost of capital, and also debt to equity ratio? The second question, Do the individual ESG components, environmental, social, and governance, have different impacts on those financial indicators? In other words, is one dimension more influential than the others? And lastly, the third, is the effect of ESG on financial performance significantly different between companies in high emission sectors and those outside of them, like in consumer goods or financial service? These three questions are important because they help us to understand whether ESG is just a symbolic gesture or if it truly delivers financial value and under what conditions. Let's continue to the research objective. The main objective of this study is to explore how ESG performance relates to the financial performance of Indonesian public companies, with a particular focus on high emission sectors that face greater sustainability pressure. More specifically, this research has three key objectives. First, to examine the extent to which ESG performance influence firm-level financial outcomes, such as return on asset, return on equity, weighted average cost of capital, and also debt-to-equity ratio in high-emission sectors company. Second one, to analyze how the individual ESG components, E, S, and G, may have different levels of influence on these financial indicators. And lastly, the third, to compare whether the ESG performance relationship is stronger or more strategic in high-emission sectors compared to non-high emission sectors, where sustainability pressure may be lower. Conceptually, this study frames ESG performance not only as an internal capability, but also as an external communication tool, where stronger ESG signals may help attract capital, reducing financing costs, and strengthen firm performance. Ontologically, this research takes a realist stance, assuming ESG scores reflect actual corporate behavior and that this behavior have observable effects on financial performance. Let's move to literature review. To support this research, I reviewed a number of case studies and theoretical frameworks that explore the relationship between ESG performance and financial outcomes. First, from a theoretical standpoint, this study is grounded in three perspectives. The first is stakeholder theory. Stakeholder theory suggests that companies create value not just for shareholders, but also for other stakeholders, like employee, community, and the environment. ESG reporting is one way companies manage those expectations and build long-term trust. The second one is resource-based view. Resource-based view sees ESG capabilities such as strong governance practice or sustainability-oriented innovation as intangible resources. If these are valuable, rare, and hard to imitate, they can be resources that sustain a competitive advantage. The third one is signaling theory. Signaling theory is especially relevant in emerging markets like Indonesia, where corporate transparency may vary. ESG reporting here acts as a signal, showing commitment to responsible business and long-term resilience. This signal can influence investor confidence, reduce perceived risk, and even lower capital costs. These three theories together help frame ESG not just as a reporting mechanism, but as a strategic and financial lever. Empirically, the link between ESG and financial performance has been widely studied at the global level. The findings are mixed, but insightful, and they align closely with the objectives of this research. Starting from global context, a large-scale meta-analysis by Friede et al. 2015 found that about 90% of more than 2,000 studies showed a positive or neutral relationship between ESG and financial performance. Velte 2017 argued that ESG disclosure helps build transparency and investor trust, which can eventually lead to higher firm value. More recently, the Inwayu Stern Center 2024 confirmed that over 58% of ESG-related studies now report positive financial effect, showing this is a measuring field. An MSCI study in 2024 also showed that companies in the top ESG quintile consistently outperform others in long-term stock returns. Then, a 2024 study on the S&P 500 found that firms with high ESG scores often enjoy a lower cost of debt, which supports the use of weighted average cost of capital as a key performance indicator. Interestingly, Wu in 2024 found that ESG reduced profitability in the global cruise sector, reminding us that ESG may have different financial impacts depending on the industry. And during crisis periods, a 2025 study in Europe found ESG-driven portfolios were more resilient, aligning closely with signaling theory, which sees ESG as a credibility and stability signal during uncertainty. Now turning to Indonesia, the first is Nariswari et al. 2023. It had a negative impact due to low ESG literacy and short-term focus. Second one, Romansyah and Nainggolan 2024 found that environmental practices contributed positively to return on asset and return on equity for firms in ESG indices like Sri Kehati and IDX ESG leaders. The third, Meilani and Sari 2024 focused on energy firms and found that ESG only improved performance when combined with green innovation. The last, Lina et al. 2024 reported that in Indonesian banking, only the environmental component had a statistically significant effect on return on asset. Overall, the literature supports the use of multiple theories: stakeholder theory, ESG managed external expectation, resource-based view, ESG acts as a strategic asset, signaling theory, ESG sends strong signal to the market, especially under uncertainty or in emerging economies like Indonesia. And this is exactly what my study builds on, testing not only the overall ESG financial performance relationship, but also the individual ESG components, and also comparing across different sectoral contexts. Alright, finally we arrive on the last part, research methodology. This research adopts a quantitative approach using secondary data to examine the relationship between ESG performance and financial performance among publicly listed companies in Indonesia. Now let's talk about data sources and scope. The study focused on companies listed on Indonesian Stock Exchange or IDX that have consistently disclosed ESG scores during the observation period. The time frame covered 5 years, from 2020 to 2024, which reflects the post-regulation era of ESG reporting in Indonesia that started in 2017. This period was chosen to capture the growing emphasis on sustainability, increased regulatory support, and also stronger investor interest in ESG issue. All variables, both financial and ESG related, are obtained from the Refinitiv Icon database. Now about the variables. The independent variable of this research is ESG performance, assessed both as an overall score and as an individual component, environmental, social, and governance. The dependent variables, first, return on asset, it talks about profitability, return on equity, it talks about shareholder return, weighted average cost of capital, about cost efficiency, debt to equity ratio, about capital structure and also risk, and control variables, the first is firm size, from the total assets, leverage, debt to asset ratio, and the last is sector classification, high emission versus non-high emission. The analytical method, the primary method that used in this study is multiple linear regression analysis to determine how ESG performance, both in aggregate and by component, affects financial indicators. To explore the third research objective, which involves sectoral comparison, the analysis will include either subgroup regression for high and non-high emission sectors, or an interaction term between ESG score and high emission dummy variable to see if the effect differs significantly. Now about the validity and reliability. The data that is used on this research, the ESG scores, are from Refinitiv, and these sorts are considered reliable because it is widely used in both academic and financial research. The financial data gathered by Refinitiv are based on audited reports to ensure the credibility of the data. The model will be tested for classical assumptions, including normality, multicollinearity, heteroscedasticity, and autocorrelation. If violation occurs, a robust standard error will be applied. And what about the link to theoretical frameworks? This methodology supports the stakeholder theory by testing whether ESG activities align with stakeholder expectations and lead to improved performance. It also applies the resource-based view by treating ESG as a firm-level capability that may provide a competitive advantage. And finally, the inclusion of weighted average cost of capital and debt to equity ratio helps operationalize signaling theory, exploring whether ESG performance sends credible signals to investors and creditors that result in more favorable financing conditions. Overall, this approach is designed to provide clear empirical evidence on the strategic and financial relevance of ESG in Indonesia's high-emission economy. In summary, this research aims not only to explore numbers, but also to understand the deeper impact of ESG as a strategic driver in Indonesia's high-emission economy. Well, that concludes my research proposal. I hope this study will contribute meaningful insights to the evolving ESG landscapes in Indonesia, and also help to clarify how sustainability strategies can influence corporate financial performance, not just as a cost, but it will bring financial impact and financial benefit to the company. Thank you for your attention.